the CFO of a business in crisis may not be the right person to then lead the organisation into growth. And it may be that the CFO has to move to a different form of organisation because unless they can evolve and change, it may be difficult for them to remove themselves from some of their past some of the items that they previously had to adhere to, and move on to think of more creative and sort of free the reins. And it's what I mentioned in the speech about a power balance. Because of Sarbanes-Oxley, the CFO's roles probably increased and the board has to take more notice of them. And I think it's going to be quite challenging for the CFO to then think that their power, so to speak, it may be diminished in some form when the business expands. So I think unless it's a unique CFO who can release the powerful reins that they may hold in a certain organisation, then it could potentially be very difficult for them to make that transformation to a CFO of an expanding business.
Okay, thanks, Gail. Does anyone want to add to that?
I'd make one comment there. I think it's absolutely the right question. I think if it's very interesting. We kind of characterise, and I take your point entirely about the Sarbanes-Oxley and the like. We try and characterise CFOs as playing that sort of very defensive role. It's quite interesting. That's certainly true to some extent out of the training of many CFOs in the UK who come out of an accounting background. It's quite interesting. If you look in America, the vast majority of CFOs, certainly the CFOs that I've worked with in America, actually come out of a business school background. And if I take your point there about who is best placed on the board to initiate that debate, and I say initiate that debate on behalf of the team, very often in the US, more than the UK, it's the those that come out of that business school background that actually have many of the analytical tools, many of the perceptions, and in some cases the raw imagination to actually lead the debate on growth. And I genuinely don't believe that the CFOs in any sense have to take a back seat when it comes to growth. Depending on their particular set of skills and capabilities as part of that team, they may well be absolutely out there in the lead.
I think there's a challenge here to equip finance directors through their career to take on roles other than the rather more stereotyped, narrow, if you want, defensive roles. And part of that is, I believe, a commitment to exposing finance executives to P&L responsibility, operational management through their careers.
Yeah. I think I actually remember reading an article in The Economist in 1992, which is pretty sad, but it was about hotel chain, and in the downturn, they actually took the view that they were going to renovate all of their rooms, because that meant that when the upturn came, they would have full occupancy rates, whilst their competitors would have downtime, and whilst they were refurbing. So, actually, I think in the crisis, my view was always with the view to coming out of the traps when we saw the inflection point, and it was basically trying to work out the trends and see when the inflection point was coming. And it was only 3 months for us. The nadir was March 2009. By June 2009, it looked like things had been stabilising across the world. And at that point, we really started talking about our 5-year growth strategy and tripling the size of the business as a possible outcome, and scenario planning what we need to do around the infrastructure, for example, behind that.